Hello, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon. I don't think there's good morning anywhere right now. So, unless you're in the East Coast and you're just really, really early bird and you're waking up to catch this session, thank you for joining this explained series that I'm just now starting with community led classes. I have my good friend Hetal here with me. And we're going to talk for the next 40 minutes. All we are going to do is just talk. If you've joined any of previous quiz Wiz series, or if you've seen me or the Delhi Atlassian community, you know that I don't like presentations. I love Menti. So that's what we are going to do today. We are going to use Mentimeter and we are going to have a conversation with that, and hopefully you will participate, and we'll get to learn some things about teamwork collection. Once again, thank you for joining. And if you have any questions, feel free to use the comment section and post your comments. We see somewhere around 18 people are live right now. We'll give them a couple more minutes to join in, more people to join in. In the meantime, I will also share my screen. But while I do that, Hital, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Absolutely. Sajid, firstly, thanks for having me on Explained and kicking things off with Teamwork Collection, which is actually so apt when we think about the system of work. I will quickly introduce myself. My name is Hetal Sangvi. I am the Teamwork Collection Solution Sales Executive at Atlassian. I'm based out of Bangalore. I've been part of Atlassian for over 2.5 years now. But solution sales executive is, of course, an internal term at Atlassian. What it really means is I'm a solution expert on teamwork collection, and I work with enterprise and strategic customers all across APAC. My key selling regions are India, Southeast Asia, and also Japan. So, a lot of learnings since Teamwork Collection has gone GA last year, and I'm really excited to talk to you, Sajid, over the next 40 minutes or so. Can't wait to see what you have up your sleeve.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Hital. Yes. So I've known Hital for a while. This is. I think this is her what, third year with Atlassian, if I'm not wrong, third or second year.
Yeah, coming up to 3 years soon.
And is this the first, like, still the first role, like, or have you jumped ships?
Oh, I think the role has evolved a fair bit since I joined. It's very fair to say that. I think just as Atlassian's philosophy has also rapidly evolved in the last 3 years, right? Atlassian has been in existing for close to 25 years, starting with flagship products like Jira and Confluence. Loom was acquired about 4 years ago. And since then, we've been really curating a platform style story, right? So we've really moved not just we've moved away from selling just to tech teams and solving only
Yeah.
tech team problems to organization wide problems. So as we've evolved on that journey, so has my role has also evolved. And now finally we have our first bundle, which is Teamwork Collection. And yeah, it's been very fast paced, very agile over the last 3 years. And I think our understanding and our exposure to customers and their challenges outside of just their tech teams has also been tremendous in this last 3 years.
Nice. And yeah, that's what we'll do today. We'll just have conversation around teamwork collection. For folks who are just joining us, we are joined here by Hital. Hital is leading the teamwork collection track at Atlassian, based out of Bangalore. Can we officially say that you're based out of Bangalore now?
I can officially say that as of October 1st, I'm officially based
Nice,
out of Bangalore.
nice.
I was based out of Melbourne. I lived in for everybody else. I lived in Melbourne for close to 7 years. But for professional as well as personal reasons, I have relocated back to Bangalore with the entire family. And officially, I'm a Atlassian India LLP employee as of October 1st.
Nice. So we just want you to say IPL is greater than Big Bash. That's all. Then we can begin.
I have no reference point on either, so I feel like that's a very
Oh my
dangerous
God! Really?
thing to comment
Oh,
on. I
you've
can talk
gone
to you
from a
about
cricket crazy Australia to a cricket crazy India, and you're saying IPL and Big Bash are two words that are alien to you. No, man, this can't work.
I can comment on AFL, but yeah,
Ooh, nice.
IPL is definitely more exciting to watch.
Yes.
Will agree.
and it's closer to home, so we watch IPL. All right, let's get started. Awesome. Before we begin, if you're just joining us, please go to menti.com, or you can scan this QR code on the screen. You can participate in this conversation as we go along. As we see right now, we've got three people on the Menti. We hope more people will join in as we go along. You can scan this QR code, or you can go to menti.com and use the code that you see up on the screen. You'll basically be able to participate in the conversation, share questions, if you have any thoughts, comments, everything, using the comment section in the chat as well. And yeah, basically, if you joining this for the first time, let me also say this: Hetal has not seen this Mentimeter. That's one rule that I always have for any guest. So please give her a little more breathing room as I stump her with some of these questions.
I can 100% verify that I have not.
Yeah, and that's fun, right? So I like these conversations to be raw. Like, we hope that we don't put you on the spot, but if we do, feel free to tell us off. All right, we've got some people from India, some people from Europe, some people from Africa as well. That's nice. But we've got 10 people on, so we'll have more people on the Menti. We've got 25 on the stream, so I think we can officially begin. A little about me. This is me. I've been an ecosystem member for the last almost 10 years. Uh, with Delhi community, I was lucky enough to win the Community of the Year award from Anu and Mike a couple of years back. Uh, yeah, my wife is a community leader as well. My daughter attends my community events sometimes as well. So yeah, wholly solely into the event space itself. But this community is much more than just Atlassian. For me, it gave me a little more than that. I learned how to be a better coach, better trainer. I've 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 met some really amazing people over the course of my 8 years as I have been a leader, and yeah, that's why I do this. So and I have the CSX Masters, which is an ITSM focused community. But this one, where you're seeing us today, which is the community led learning, I started being a coach in this community a couple of months back only. And yeah, that's about me. This is the home of all things Quiz Wiz, and we do a lot of comments. We do a lot of live streams and get notified of similar comments. Let's get ready to rumble. Let's get started. So, before we begin, I had kind of like a basic question just to gauge what our audience thinks. Like, an audience can move around and comment and vote on these questions. Hetal, you can't. So, you'll see as we go along so that the conversation stays active. So, this is one question that I wanted to ask: what's most broken in teamwork today? And people say we have too many meetings. I feel like some of these are very straight away just stepping stone for you to talk about some of the products that Atlassian offers to resolve these issues. But what do you think is the most broken in teamwork? Broken might be a negative word. What could be improved in teamwork today?
Yeah, no. What I'm seeing, how everybody is kind of polling their views, is very similar to what I heard our customers talk about as well. And I think you're absolutely right. There is a lot of friction in teamwork at the moment, and the most common areas of friction, and this is across the organization, right? The most common points of friction is people don't know what they're working on, and they don't know how, where the knowledge exists. Many times people are recreating assets, recreating project briefs from scratch. There's a lot of admin burden on them. And the other kind of burden that everybody is grappling with is definitely meetings overload. I talk to many customers during my week where they tell me that they are doing maybe 6 hours of meeting in a day, which is ridiculous. Like, where is the time to actually do deep work? And this is a big problem that they have. Um, and of course, I think poorly integrated tools, and now I think there's also a lot of noise about each tool having its own AI capability. So, which AI capability do you truly leverage? Do you go native in certain cases, or do you kind of pull things in? So, I think there are a lot of topics that a lot of customers are chewing through, which is very similar to what's up on the Mentimeter as well. And look, this is exactly, and this hasn't been observed just in a span of like 12 to 18 months, right? Like we've been working with customers, and this has clearly emerged as themes for almost a decade now. That this is how work is broken. We have tools,
Yeah.
but we are not able to move work forward, which is exactly the ideology that of work is trying to solve, which Teamwork Collection is trying to solve. That how can we give our customers a foundational which actually helps them do work, right? So that's the
Hmm.
entire philosophy of Teamwork Collection, which helps them, work better, work faster, access knowledge, make AI part of the team, use video AI capability to cut down on the meeting overload. So there are quite a few things that all of these themes is what we're solving in Teamwork Collection.
So, you say we are solving those problems in teamwork collection, right? So, are those common problems, or do you think these tools solve independent problems? And we'll come to that, what teamwork collection is, what are the tools. But, or is teamwork collection supposed to be like, is the sum of all bigger than individuals, is what I'm trying to ask.
Oh, 100%. And that is why we have a bundled offering, right? Like that is why we're going at it as a platform approach and not talking in siloed products, because the sum of all is truly greater than individual products.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's also an entire act of practices, giving them a tool set. Like if I'm to put things very simply, all of these problems can be very, if I'm to put things conversationally, you can really resolve a lot of these things or give people the right tool set to overcome a lot of these friction points if we all approach it with a mindset that if you are an employee working in an office building, on a laptop, you should have birthright for three things. One is a project management tool, to really track
Okay.
the work. And all the work that you're doing, when it's tracked, it's very clear that it's adding to a certain goal, right?
Sure.
The second tool is a knowledge management tool, right? Where you keep all your knowledge, where you're able to ideate, where you're able to take ideas from in the more brainstorming phase, right? And then keep
Sure.
knowledge as to how to maintain that. And the third is you need an AI partner, right?
Hmm.
Increasingly, so this is how I distill system of work for my customers, that this is everybody's birthright. Now depending on what team you are part of, you may require some more specialized tooling, but when you have this kind of mindset and approach as an organization, a lot of this friction can be overcome, of course, with the right
Hmm.
ways of working. And I mean, products are not everything, practice is also part of the journey.
Right. Yeah. And we'll come to that. Like, practice is definitely something that I want to talk to you about later. And it's very interesting. I like, now that people are actively contributing to the mentee, we'll see what they have to say.
Yeah.
But do you think the scale of the organization changes? Like, does that birthright change depending on the scale of the organization?
You mean does
Like,
the
do
right?
those three change depending on how big you are or small you are, depending on the organization?
In my opinion, no. In my
Okay.
opinion, regardless of the geo and regardless of the size of the organization, to truly do work, you do need these three tools. Where I think change can occur is on the specialization of the role.
Okay. Speak more.
So, like if I'm a leader, I don't need to go down in the weeds. I need to know a
Sure.
high level view. Okay, so you need specialized you need more. You need dashboards, you need analytical tools which help you give that overview. You need to be able to identify a risk before it actually becomes a risk, right?
Hmm.
If I am in service teams, I need different sets of tooling to go through my everyday job, right? I mean, just project management, knowledge management, and AI is not enough. I need some specialized layer. So that's
Sure.
where I think that tool set can change. But I do believe that project management, knowledge management, and AI is a birthright for every employee working in an office building.
Nice. But right now, Dave Dawson in the comment makes a very interesting point. They would have to change slightly because AI wasn't around 10 years ago. So, like, I really like what you said about these three things being birthright, but that has evolved so much, right? Like, 5 years back, we were just touching on the fringes of AI, what AI could do. And what we are doing now, versus, like, I'll give a ecosystem example. So I've been attending summits before it was team from 2017, I believe, right? MCB or Scott would announce a feature and you would like, yeah, this will come in like 2 years. And like last year, when like Row was announced, and like 6 months we started playing with it, and like now the change and the evolution is happening so quickly, it's tough to keep up with it at times.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
don't know if those, what Hetal is saying about the birthright would be the same in 6 months with the pace at which the industry is changing.
Probably not.
Yeah, right. Like something else might, like, again, it'll evolve. You're right, Dave. It will evolve, but like I think the base will might stay the same. So I like the aspect of project management. I used to say to anybody who would ask me what project management is, like project management is like air. If it's not there, you choke. But if it's there, nobody gives a shit about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like people get the job done, yeah, good PM, that's it. But if it's not there, like, oh, there's no PM, he made all the mistakes, he didn't do stakeholder management, this and that, all of that. So in that sense, yeah, I agree. I think I've spent too much time on this one question, which wasn't even a technical question. uh, but interesting conversations. Thank you for that, Dave. Let's move on. I actually had an icebreaker that I wanted to put after this, but let's do this now. What is a sentence that you hear most at work? What do you think, Hitul? Let's take this offline. Can you jump on a call?
Oh my
Circle
God.
back.
I'll tell you the one I dread the most, Sajid.
Uh-huh.
You
Let's take
quickly
this
jump
offline.
on a call.
Oh, quickly jump on a call. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. Because I know it's not quick and it's very disruptive to my flow of work, where I already have a lot of meetings. So it is definitely the one I hear the most at my work. But yeah, I see. Can you see my screen is another common one as well.
Yeah, can you see my screen? And you're talking on mute is also pretty common. I think the moment you start doing more virtually. I think
Oh,
one thing I hate is let's take this offline. And I've been somebody who said this in the past also, but I very consciously don't say it anymore. If it's worth talking, let's talk about it now, or just leave it. It's not worth talking. We're just digging deeper into something that's not worth discussing. But yeah, that's what happens when you don't wet your slides enough. This was supposed to be the first question, and the other slide was supposed to be the second slide. But thank you, everybody. You're already participating, so we're good. All right, let's move on and let's actually start talking about what is teamwork collection before we go into how we can use these tools to make an impact. Let's look at what is teamwork collection. So I'll give you 40 seconds to give us everybody a pitch or an elevator pitch for what is teamwork collection, Hetu.
okay. I think for me, teamwork collection is truly foundational. Like I said, in my opinion, it's a birthright of every office employee,
Mhm.
right? It is a collection of four products. It is Jira and Confluence, which are fan favorites. Everybody knows about it. No introduction needed there. And then the other two products are Rovo and Loom. Rovo is our flagship AI product, and Loom can be described in so many ways, but the way I like to describe it is truly it's so powerful within the Confluence and the Jira environment. I think of it as video AI. Depending on your use case, depending on if you're looking to reduce meetings, if you're looking to create documentation quickly, you're looking to do one to many, you're looking to communicate across a lot of geos, that tool has it wears multiple hats, so truly a powerful addition to our collection. But yeah, that is, in if I have to put a buzzword to it, it is birthright of every employee.
And yeah, while there are other collections, I think for me, teamwork makes the most sense because uh, these two, as you mentioned, Jira and Confluence, have always been uh, the pillars on which I've had any work done. For me, very close third would be Trello. Sad that it's not part of Teamwork Collection. You've broken a lot of hearts by not including that tool. It has its own fan following, but Loom is definitely climbing up the charts, right? Like over the last 1 year, I think I've used Loom a lot. In my previous role, I've, I would send status updates or ask for information sitting in a play area with my daughter. So that gave me the flexibility to not need a computer always to talk to people, and they could respond to me whenever. We tried it. It was WhatsApp, but official. That's what I would start calling it.
Yeah, no, no, I agree with you. I think Loom has so many ways that it can help smoothen out efficiencies within an organization. My personal favorite use case is Loom Note Taker. Honestly, I use it the most. I like to have Loom Note Taker for all my calls. I have very intense, dense information calls, right? Like I'm in a sales role. I talk to customers. I understand what their problem statement is, and I'm working on a solution. The Loom Note Taker is wonderful because not only does it give you a great summary, but it also becomes part of my Rovo knowledge base.
Yeah.
So now that when I do an AI search, and if I'm doing, say, working on a certain project, now I just put in my four previous Loom meetings. I put in any other Confluence page, maybe a website that I'm scanning through. I give all this data source to Rovo, and I get amazing insights out of it. It is truly
Mm.
wonderful in the way that you approach work. And like, I think no one of us is missing content. We all have more than enough content. What we are missing is context. Like,
Mm.
out of those four Loom recordings or meetings, what truly is impactful? What will move the needle? Where is the real blocker? When you have AI helping you really pinpoint that, that's when you can use the human effort to truly solve a problem and not waste time in trying to find the problem statement, validate how important it is or not important it is. I hope this example is bringing it to life, but
Yeah.
um, I feel it moves the needle the most for me in that use case.
Sure. Nice. All right, let's move on. We'll come back to this question. Now that you've spoken so fondly about Loom, how like it becomes part of the teamwork collection, and where the so technically the other three are tools, right?
Hmm.
Loom is more of an enabler. You spend time on those three tools. You talk to Robo, you get responses, you initiate conversations, or you build draft agendas. You spend time in Jira and Confluence. But Loom is not. Loom is something which stays on the sidelines. So how does it be part of this teamwork? And it's not just a communication strategy that, hey, use Loom. If you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think great question. And this is a question which I like to spend a lot of time when I'm talking to large enterprises as well, right? Like Loom is a bit of a black box. First of all, I think I like to start out with a caveat that Loom is not Zoom, it's not Teams, it's very different tool. And the unique part about it is the integration it has in the Atlassian ecosystem. So if it were not integrated, it would not be that valuable. The true value comes from the integration. And the true value to our customers comes from the fact that if you think about any large organization, right, most of the engineering workload, which is truly the heart and the brain of the organization, it's being conducted in Jira and Confluence, right? So when you put an video AI layer on top of it, right? So it's being part of your brainstorming sessions. It's helping you create PRDs. It's taking, a bug report and creating assets out of it. It's taking a meeting where an escalation is being discussed and creating a direct ticket in Jira and assigning it. It's breaking down work items. So the true power of Loom comes in its integration. So while actually, which goes back to the correction that I would like to make, Sajid, that it is not on the sidelines. It's actually, it really sits across all the products. So if you have seen the Loom button, it pops up everywhere now. It
Yeah.
pops up in your JSM tickets, it pops up in your Confluence pages, in your Jira tickets. It's everywhere. And the beauty of it is in its integration. Otherwise, it's just a video recording tool. But for us, it's powerful because of what you can do with that recording.
Sure. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, for people who are saying never tried, tell me more about it. I would encourage you to go check out Loom. Not just as part of Teamwork Collection, it is available separately as well. So
Yes.
you can definitely try it out. I tried using it just for the note taker, to be very honest, but I found other purposes much more uh, compelling to me. But yeah, I think Loom is a tool like that which let you choose the way you want to explore it. Uh, let's take this a step deeper and understand, Hital, and talk about what could be a problem statement that Teamwork Collection can solve that individually Jira or Confluence alone couldn't. So yes, Loom also exists, or even I would say, let's say for example, Loom exists, or Jira or Confluence or Loom or Rovo. Like again, I'm
Yes.
bringing you back to why the sum is better than the individual products.
Yeah. And I think I'll go back in time a bit for this. When we have multiple customers, okay, even if I'm to take example of customers in APAC, we have so many customers who are with us right from the beginning, who are using us close to 20, 25 years now. And that kind of depth in Jira and Confluence also means that they sometimes tend to use these products still in isolation, right? That's my big learning from talking to customers, that just by having Jira and Confluence as products does not mean that you actually are leveraging them together, leveraging project management and knowledge management together. In many cases, they are not equally leveraged or equally utilized within an organization, where knowledge still tends to be in pockets of SharePoint, pockets of your Google Drive, in your Word docs. Knowledge still can be quite disparate, right? So when you think about using something like Teamwork Collection, right, where your project management, your knowledge management is connected by Rovo and underpinned by the teamwork graph, I think that's also a very important part of it. We cannot talk about Teamwork Collection without talking about the teamwork graph, which is a bit technical, but basically for the uninitiated here, teamwork graph is the underpinning philosophy. So when we think about the teamwork graph, any work that you do in Jira, it there is context of it in the rest of the Atlassian ecosystem. So if you're working on a ticket or you're working on a document or you're working on a JSM ticket, Rovo is able to get context of it across the organization, right? So it has the most up-to-date information because it's pulling information from the Jira tickets, from the JSM tickets, it's pulling information and pulling context from the Confluence pages. And you can also connect your third party products into it, right? Like Atlassian as an ecosystem, we don't believe that you only need Atlassian to exist, right? We understand enterprise architecture is complicated, and you have also evolved your enterprise architecture in a certain way. So you can also connect other data sources and use Rovo to get insights that were earlier not possible. Again,
Mhm.
when you add the layer of Loom on top of it, now all the discussions which are happening in meetings, all the async updates that are coming out, all of that is now part of that repository, part of that teamwork graph. So when you think about teamwork collection, it's really giving you, it's removing those silos, it's removing those barriers. And the direct impact of that is, of course, efficiency, productivity, and ability to go to market faster.
Hmm.
So that's my answer in a nutshell. That it's really the connection point between all the products,
Nice.
facilitated by AI.
Nice. We've got some people responding to this as well. I hope you are either Teamwork customers or you use these and this is what you feel. People say resource capacity planning, seeing a developer is on leave, capturing the calendar, having that directly affect their task availability in Jira. These might more be feature level aspects that you're talking about, but can definitely I see where the integration or the overarching teamwork philosophy coming into picture can impact this as well. Let's move on. Let's talk about new ways of working. Let's talk about how can teams stop this from becoming just another bundle. So people say you have to have concrete business outcome, iterative rollout, shifting focus from functionality to meaning, model the behaviors lead. Okay, that's interesting. What do you think, Ethan?
I completely agree with all of this. Like,
Did I
I give
lose
you
you
an
for a
example.
second?
Sorry, I think I'm back now. Can you hear me, Sajid?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I can hear you.
I agree with everything. And I think definitely ways of working is, of course, I think leaders have to model that behavior and there needs to be an ease of adoption, right? So
Hmm.
I think we need to make the tools really relevant for the stakeholders. So when we talk to our product teams, engineering teams, we talk about use cases which are relevant to them. Because if it makes their everyday life easy, adoption will be strong, utilization will be high, and efficiencies will be gleaned out of that. But if
Hmm.
it's not relevant to them, they are not going to adopt it. So I think at Atlassian, we try to we don't make it about teamwork collection, but rather we make it about their problem statement and their use case. The other thing, and I'll also share a few things from Atlassian side. I know they are very off the cuff at the moment, but at Atlassian, we have a lot of practices that we internally do. So if there is a loom which somebody has recorded, maybe they have found a certain idea or a certain gap or done some great work with the customer, and we've kind of gone and recorded a loom about it. And if the loom crosses, say, 150 views, the founders will watch it. MCB will watch it, he will comment on it. And it's a general practice that even if a Confluence page becomes very popular, it goes a bit viral within our own organization,
Nice,
MCB will comment on it. So
nice.
I think it's also to go back to the point that leaders need to model the behavior.
I like that. That's really important because uh, you got to pave the way. Like people do follow what the leaders are doing, and if it's not driven from the top, it can't be built from the bottom and then pushed up. I 100% agree. Awesome. All right, let's move on and come to the conversation everybody is having everywhere these days. AI, right? So everyone is adding AI. Every tool has AI. Uh, I, if I'm not wrong, a couple of days back, I actually saw a LinkedIn post from the Atlassian account itself where it said we can now link ChatGPT directly with the Atlassian application itself, not use the model via Robo, but you can actually give access to a repository or a project to ChatGPT or a conference page, and then have responses from ChatGPT. So AI is everywhere. What's the risk of getting AI wrong, and how do you get it right? What is right if there is a right?
Um, I think, Sajid, we are still very early on in the AI journey. I think most of people are still experimenting with AI. So in that regard, I would say that people are quite cautious. I see that people still rely heavily with human in the loop, and I think that should be the way going forward. I think that's the way to use AI responsibly. I think the big topic a lot of our key customers and key strategic customers and enterprise customers are really chewing through is how do we monitor the utilization of AI and the impact of AI, right? Like, I think that's the big question in the industry right now, that we are all experimenting with it, but how do we really know it's helping us move forward? So I think a lot of effort is going into understanding which are the use cases which have the most friction points. What friction points can we remove with AI? What makes sense to remove with AI? And what makes sense to be heavily human led, right? Or with human in charge but supported by AI. I think there are different models that people are experimenting with at the moment. So I would say definitely we are all still experimenting. I don't think I'm in a position to concretely say what is definitely not going to work, but I think at the moment being cautious is the safe way to truly to go forth on the AI path and to also monitor the impact of AI. I think that's very important. I think um, we can't be experimenting with AI with no regard of what the impact is on efficiency.
That's a very interesting point that you bring. How do you impact? How do you measure the impact?
So there's a whole piece of work that's happening within Atlassian of how to monitor this via dashboards, understand what the efficiencies are, what the previous state is, what the end state is, and track it. We have entire teams which are dedicated. They're called BVA teams who are helping a
Sorry,
large
which teams?
business value assessment teams, which are working with our large customers to understand where are we tracking on this effort. So
Hmm.
I think even within Atlassian, we recognize that this is an important place that we need to support our customers with.
Nice. Dave makes another great point in the chat. He says a human should be in the loop of AI answers and never 100% rely on what AI responds with. I totally agree, Dave. I've had this issue with another friend of mine who was using not not Robo. I wouldn't say, like, I don't think they have used Robo yet. They were on data center, but they had some issue with some AI which his team used to generate some reports and present to the customer, and it didn't represent the accurate factual information, and that came back and like really troubled their team for a while, and they became against AI for a while, and now they are coming back and like they realize it was the human who made the mistakes of not vetting the information. But yeah, that's where we are, I guess. All right, let's move on. Big question. The audience very clearly feels one way. If teams adopt the tools but don't change their behavior and process, can they still succeed?
If teams
What?
adopt the tools but don't change
Yeah,
behaviors for processes, can they still succeed?
yeah. What do
No,
you think? No,
just
right?
tools are not going to help solve a certain
Or
challenge.
process? Do you think just process helps?
Like just process but no improvement in tool, is it?
Yeah. Do you think that
Um,
helps?
no, I don't think that works either. Um,
Hmm.
unless the I think the right way to approach it to truly understand what is an ideal solution look like, and is the current tool set able to get you there, right? Like how much of it is a gap in the tool set and how much of it is a change management process, right? In certain cases, maybe you do have the right tools and it's all about changing the behaviors. And in certain cases, and in most cases, any transformation project, we realize that it falls somewhere in the middle, right? That
Hmm.
there is certain amount of change management, behavioral changes, process changes, which is required. But also the tool set which was in play was legacy, was outdated, was not able to match with the scale of the organization, and hence it required an upgrade as well. So
Nice.
I wouldn't say that it is definitely one way or the other, but I think that's why understanding your current state and mapping it to the ideal solution is also important.
I agree. I have uh, one tiny input on this where I feel if you have to choose, it has to be process greater than tool, because for like a 10 people company, if you have solid processes, you can do without tools. But the moment you start to scale up,
Yeah.
process will crumble if you don't have proper tools backing them up.
Yeah. No, no, I hear you, Sajid. I'm just part of a product organization and hence I cannot allow
Of
myself to
course.
think that way.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I think we have one or two more questions. Then I have one question that I wanted to ask you separately, and then we will wind up. I had asked the people what needs to be better for you to be, doing better teamwork, and I think these are all the problems, or these are all the issues that everybody faces: chaotic documentation, siloed knowledge, unclear process, knowledge transfers, music content, transparency, effective use of tool set, trust. That's a very key word. I don't think any tool or processes will teach you how to build trust. I think that's an inherent team attribute that you have to develop over time. uh, that norming, forming, storming, and performing, those stages of a team comes to mind. But That's a very important point. Whoever has put that in, thank you for sharing. Uh, Single point of truth is again a very good point. I think in my early days of using Jira, anybody who would ask me what does Jira do, my answer used to be single point of truth. It's the single point of truth for your teams, and that used to be the way I would start a conversation talking about Jira to the teams. What do you think, Hital? Any pick from this that people have shared with us?
I think all of this definitely adds to teamwork. Like all of these have such a role to play. From my perspective, I think I personally love Atlassian's open by default philosophy. I think knowledge is accessible, especially as somebody who's been part of the organization for 2.5 years. I think very early on, I felt like I knew the where we come from, where are we going story quite well. And I think it's only because I was able to get context quite easily. And I think that also helps with those stages, right? Like I was able to embed myself much faster. I was able to understand the broader context, not just of why my team is doing something, but why the wider organization is doing something. Why is product working on ABC feature? How is this going to impact me? Like I'm able to give a more in-depth view to my work and be more confident about what's coming just because of open source of knowledge. Like I think for me, it's a big game changer. I think the second thing that I would also talk about is it's removing day-to-day frustrations, right? Like when I leverage a tool, I want to gain efficiency. I want to be able to access the data. I want to see the right dashboards. I want to have the right information. I think having access to all of that is it really helps smoothen things out, make people more efficient, remove the everyday frustration. And third is allowing your employees to be in a flow of undisturbed work. I think that makes you better at teamwork.
I remember back in the day there used to be cubicles, right? So you used to work in cubicles, and
Yeah.
like I had this friend who would put out a post on his cubicle saying "Do not disturb" and put big headphones, and then he would start working. Yeah, because that flow mattered to him a lot. But we used to make fun of him back in the. This is 2012, 2013, early days of me starting to work. But I feel that now. I feel that now. When I start working, I put on noise canceling headphones, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's heavy metal just to tune out everything that is happening in my head itself, or sometimes it's smooth jazz. But music helps me ground myself and get into a flow. Uh, 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 thank you for sharing. Yeah, I 100% agree. Single source of truth. Everybody should have the same artifact. We have another great point. Hallucinations are another big reason why companies are still not completely relying on AI. We should work on reducing hallucinations using generative AI, like techniques like RAG. Thank you for sharing that. Uh, and yeah, thank you for sharing that, Hital. Let's Yeah, I think though that was the official end of my slides or questions. I did have one question for you, which is actually not here, which is if somebody is using Jira and Confluence today, how can they migrate or how can they evolve to Teamwork Collection? What's their step? How do they do that?
Yeah. I think the first thing is that Teamwork Collection is a new bundle, but the products are not new, right? So one big clarification is unlike a few years ago when we were doing migrations from server to DC or DC to cloud, there is no migration per se. If you are already part of a cloud environment, you can easily switch over to Teamwork Collection and get access to all those new capabilities. There is no uplift required on actual migration effort if you are already on the cloud. If you're not on the cloud, yes, you will have to go through the migration effort as anybody does from coming from server or DC to cloud. So I think that's a big clarification that if you're already part of cloud, it's a very easy switch. You can do a trial. You can, if you want to upgrade to Teamwork Collection, you can talk to your partners. You can talk to your sales reps and get that sorted for yourselves, right? Once you have the full set of capabilities, I would encourage you to really look at workflows and value streams that are most important to you and map out how could you leverage Jira, Confluence, Loom, and Rovo together. And for that, we have a lot of documentation on our websites. If you are lucky enough to have a customer success manager, or you have partner to help you with that, please talk to your partners. They are all very knowledgeable on helping you with those use cases as well. And at the moment, and Teamwork Collection has the maximum quotas for Rovo. So it is a great place for you to experiment with your AI workloads as well. So compared to Jira and Confluence standalone products, if we take an example of, say, Teamwork Collection Premium, you get 10 times as much AI indexed objects and AI credits.
Nice.
So feel free to experiment and get a lot of value out of that.
Nice. While you were saying this, another thought came into mind. Then that's the site admin role that I have played for years. That just got stuck in my head. Does the billing get simplified?
Oh, 100%. It is centralized billing. So you're no
Nice.
longer billing for different products, and you can manage all of that in the admin. I mean, I think Sajid, it's been a while since you played that role.
Oh, yeah.
It's
It's been a while.
incredibly simplified in Teamwork Collection. It's all kind of nestled under the one billing, and you can see all the utilization there.
And do you get like multiple org benefits as well? So, like for example, for a big scale organization who have multiple Jira sites, like does it also trickle down? So, like you buy Teamwork Collection at the top and it gets everywhere else?
Yes, but only
Nice.
for enterprise, as you know, that is
Only
an
for
entire
enterprise.
enterprise.
Yeah,
So
I think only enterprise has the multi
correct.
sites
So
benefit
that
already.
benefit transfers through. So if whatever benefit was of the multi-org, that comes to Jira, into Teamwork Collection Enterprise as well. 100%.
Nice. Awesome. All right. Thank you for sharing all this awesome information with us, Hital. We are officially at the end of time. We're 3 minutes over. I had planned for 45 minutes. We are good. Quick shout out. There are a bunch more things that we are doing. There's a Robo Games. We just completed one Robo Games yesterday with Sven. The next Robo Games is on February 10th, featuring Val. You might have seen Val around that Atlassian community-led classes because she is the AI spokesperson for all of us. And me and Rob are going to play Robo Games with her on 10th. If you're interested in trivia, I do run a trivia championship inside QuizWiz as well, where the prize money is $10,000, supported by Collabsoft. It's going to be given to charity. I don't get it. Winners don't get it, sadly. But one of the Atlassian Foundation charities would be given $10,000 by one of these four teams who've been playing since last 4 months. We had cascading trivia contest for the last 4 5 months now, and we are now at semifinals. So one is tomorrow, one is next weekend, and finals we'll have on 29th. With that, we come to the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for sharing all the information with us, Hetal. It was awesome to have you. As always, it's a blessing to have an unfiltered conversation. And my favorite metric of any time I do this no slide conversation is the people who participate. We started with 32 people. 30 people are still watching us live, and that's the perfect representation of how engaging this kind of session is rather than a presentation. So thank you all of you who joined us today.
Thanks for having me, Sajid. And thanks for everybody for your questions and your comments and your engagement. Really appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you next time. We've done teamwork, so now I think it's software, and then we'll do strategy as well. So look out for those events being hosted on the community led learning. I'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody.